Every single step for this is exactly the same as before, so let's again start by moving the constant to the other side. When you are completing the square, you don't want it to equal 0. So now we have x squared minus 14x equals negative 16. We would be subtracting 16 to cancel it here and move it there, which is why it is now negative. Some people like to just remember that if you move something to another side, it changes signs. However you would like to remember it is fine. From there, we have to take b and divide it by 2 and square it. Well, now b is negative 14. So I'm supposed to take negative 14 divided by 2 and square it. Negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7. If I square it, I get 49. And we'll add that number to both sides of our equation. So now I have x squared minus 14x plus 49 equals negative 16 plus 49. The 16 is negative because I moved it to the other side. Okay? Oh, you're asking about the 14 being negative? Yeah, because it was a minus 14 here. Now what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to factor this on the left, but we do have a shortcut for this. It's always x something squared. And again, the number that will go in here with x is what you had before you squared it. Before I squared this, it was a negative 7, so minus 7. On the right, we have to simplify this. Negative 16 plus 49, that'll give me a positive 33. Every single step has been exactly the same as what we did before. Here is where it's going to start being different. The next step of my process is to take this equation that I have created and start to solve it. To get rid of the squared, I write square root, because square root and squared cancel each other. So now I just have x minus 7, just like we did on Tuesday. But my problem is the square root of 33, there is no whole number that does that. This is an irrational number. If we actually sat here and calculated the exact square root of 33, it would never end. It's also a very long process, so we have a way of just writing this so that we know what it is. When you take a square root, you usually end up getting two numbers. Can someone explain what types of numbers you usually get? Cheyenne? A positive and a negative. For example, we saw earlier, the square root of 25 was positive and negative 5. So here's what we're going to write. I know that 33 has a square root. Somewhere out there, there's some ridiculously long decimal that is the square root of 33. Which means I know that that number could be positive or it could be negative. But we are not going to calculate it. We are just simply going to write positive or negative, whatever the heck the square root of 33 is. When you leave a number inside the square root, there's a name for this. It starts with an R and it's really cool and awesome. It's called a radical. I know, great, fantastic joke. So we have this. We have x minus 7 equals positive or negative, and we usually just say root 33 or square root 33. But we're not done. Please remember we were asked to solve this, which means at the end I need x equals something. The rest of this problem is still the same as what we did before. I still split this, and I'm going to solve for positive and negative. I need x minus 7 equals positive root 33. I need x minus 7 equals negative root 33. There's only one step left in this process. That is to solve by adding a whole 7. You may notice that I'm not writing the 7 right underneath the square root. Radicals and whole numbers are not like terms. They cannot be combined by adding them. Just like 3x plus 2, you don't combine that to make it 5x, it's just 3x plus 2. So here's what we do. Because they are not like terms, they cannot be combined this way, I simply say x equals 7, and this is positive, so plus root 33. And this one I say x equals 7, and I subtracted the square root of 33. So one way of describing this answer is that this solution is a positive 7 and the positive square root of 33. 7 and 33. This answer is a positive 7 and a negative square root of 33. So positive 7 and a negative square root of 33. By writing it this way, whole numbers always come before radicals. That's a rule of writing radicals. To consolidate this, and you will see it this way, 7 plus root 33, 7 minus root 33. To consolidate, it will look like this. X equals 7 plus or minus the square root of 33. That is how you will be expected to write the final answer.